I'm 78 years old, and the greatest love of my life never knew I loved him, not because I didn't feel it, but because I never said it out loud. I live alone now, in a small apartment that smells like lavender soap and old books. My hands shake when I pour my tea. My knees ache when it rains. But my memory, oh, my memory is still sharp where it hurts. I've had a long life, a full one, people say. But there is one story I've never told properly, not even to my children, especially not to myself. It's about how women like me, older women, show attraction without ever using the word love, and how I learned too late what silence can cost. I was born in 1947, in a town so small you could smell dinner cooking from 3 houses away. My mother taught me how to iron shirts before I learned algebra. She also taught me something else without ever saying it. "A woman doesn't chase," she'd say, pressing a crease into my father's trousers. "She invites." I didn't know what that meant back then, but I learned. By the time I was 22, I had mastered the art of not saying what I felt. I could smile without revealing too much. I could linger in a doorway. I could ask about someone's day and really mean it. I could bake a pie just because someone mentioned they liked cherries once. That was how we did things. Not with bold words, not with confessions, but with gestures, with attention, with presence. I met Daniel in 1971 in the back of a hardware store where I worked part-time. He was there buying a toolbox, wearing a denim jacket that smelled faintly of gasoline and pine. He smiled at me like he already knew me. "You look like you know where everything is," he said. "I do," I replied, "even the things people don't ask for." He laughed at that. From that day on, he started coming in every Thursday. Sometimes he bought nails, sometimes rope, sometimes nothing at all. We talked about small things, the weather, his truck, my mother's garden, and slowly, I began to arrange my Thursdays around him. I wore my hair down instead of pinned. I packed extra lunch in case he mentioned he forgot his. I pretended to be busy near the front counter when I saw his truck pull in. I didn't say, "I like you." I said, "Did you eat today?" When he mentioned he liked lemon pastries once, I brought some the next week. I said it was too many for me to finish alone. When he looked tired, I told him he could sit in the back for a minute. When he laughed, I laughed a little louder. That was my language. And I believed, truly believed, that if he cared, he would understand, because I thought everyone spoke this way. In 1974, Daniel asked me to dinner, not a date exactly, or maybe it was. He didn't call it anything. He said, "You always feed me. I should return the favor." I wore a blue dress that hugged my waist and made me feel brave. My hands shook as I applied lipstick. He took me to a diner on Maple Street, vinyl booths, jukebox humming, the smell of frying onions. We talked for hours about his childhood, about my dreams of becoming a librarian, about how he wanted to leave town someday. When he reached for his coffee, our hands touched. I didn't pull away. That night, he walked me to my door. The porch light flickered. He hesitated. I held my breath. "Well," he said, "this was nice." I nodded, smiled, said, "Yes, it was." He stood there a moment longer. I wanted him to kiss me. I wanted to say, "Don't go yet." Instead, I said, "You should drive safe." He smiled, tipped his hat, left, and that became our rhythm. Dinners, conversations, walks, laughter, but never a word. Not from him, not from me. Then one day he told me he'd met someone. Her name was Elaine. She was outspoken, confident, a schoolteacher from the next town. "Oh, she says what she wants," he told me, half amused, half awed. "It's refreshing." I smiled. I congratulated him. I baked him a lemon cake. I didn't cry until he left. I told myself I had no right to. After all, I had never said anything. Years passed. I married someone else, a good man, kind, predictable. We raised 2 children, built routines, paid bills, watched television in silence. Love, the kind I had imagined, never quite arrived. Then one afternoon in 2003, I ran into Daniel at the grocery store. His hair was gray, mine too. He was divorced, I was widowed. We stood in the produce aisle like ghosts from another life. We had coffee, then lunch, then long walks again. This time I was bolder. I leaned in when I laughed. I touched his arm when I spoke. I remembered everything he said. I made his favorite soup when he was sick. I listened deeply. He once looked at me and said, "You're very caring, you know that?" I said, "I try." What I meant was, "I love you," but what I said was nothing. Then one evening, as we watched the sun dip behind the trees, he said, "I wish I had known what you felt back then." My heart stopped. "What do you mean?" I asked. He looked at me, confused, almost sad. "I always wondered," he said, "if there was something there, but you never said anything. You were always kind, friendly. I couldn't tell." I laughed, a soft, broken sound. I said, "Some of us were taught not to speak." He nodded. We never spoke about it again, and a year later he moved away. I haven't seen him since. Now I am 78. I watch younger women on television, saying exactly what they want, bold, unafraid, and I admire them. But I also understand the women like me. We were raised to be gentle with our feelings, to fold them neatly, to offer them quietly. We showed attraction through care, through remembering, through staying. We didn't flirt loudly. We noticed. We remembered birthdays no one mentioned. We asked questions we truly wanted the answers to. We lingered. We waited. And sometimes we waited too long. If I could go back, I would say his name out loud. I would say what I felt. I would risk embarrassment. I would risk rejection. Because silence, I've learned, is not dignity. It's distance. And love, real love, deserves a voice. If someone in your life matters to you, don't assume they know. Don't hide behind kindness alone. Say the words. Make the call. Write the letter. I waited 78 years to understand this. You don't have to. If this story stayed with you, stay with this channel. I still have a few truths left to tell.